Did you know that over 94 million people worldwide are currently living with cataracts, and many don't even realize their everyday habits are speeding up the process of going blind? Cataracts are the leading cause of blindness globally, yet they often sneak up on you silently, gradually dimming your vision until it's too late to reverse. What's more terrifying is that researchers now believe certain simple daily actions, things you probably do without thinking, could be making your cataracts worse by the day. Imagine this. You wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and realize your vision has gone cloudy, colors are dull, lights glare painfully, and suddenly driving at night or even reading becomes a struggle. These aren't just signs of aging. They might be the results of invisible damage building up from these daily mistakes. What's even scarier is that the number one mistake on our list is something millions of people do every day. And it's silently sabotaging their eyes faster than you'd ever expect. We'll reveal it at the end, and trust me, once you hear it, you'll never look at your routine the same way again. Before we dive in, if you care about staying sharp, healthy, and strong as you age, hit that like button and subscribe. And share this with a friend who needs to hear this too. It might change their life. Number 5. Rubbing your eyes, even just a little. It might seem harmless. Maybe your eyes feel dry, itchy, or irritated, so you reach up and give them a quick rub. It's a comforting reflex, right? But here's the problem. When you rub your eyes, especially if you do it frequently or forcefully, you're not just relieving temporary discomfort. You might actually be helping cataracts develop faster. To understand why, we need to look at what a cataract really is. A cataract forms when the proteins in the lens of your eye begin to clump together, clouding vision. Normally, the lens is clear, allowing light to pass through sharply. But as these proteins break down and stick together, they scatter light, causing blurred vision and sensitivity to glare. Now, when you rub your eyes, you apply mechanical pressure to a structure that's incredibly delicate. According to a study published in the journal Ophthalmology, chronic eye rubbing can increase intraocular pressure. That's the pressure inside your eye, which not only raises the risk for glaucoma, but can also stress the lens itself. That repeated physical stress can accelerate the breakdown of lens proteins, especially if your eyes are already inflamed or your body is under oxidative stress, a condition where harmful free radicals outpace the body's ability to detoxify them. And guess what promotes oxidative stress? That's right, inflammation, UV exposure, smoking, poor diet, and, as we'll discuss later, certain medications. Also, rubbing your eyes introduces bacteria and irritants directly into your ocular surface. Our hands are full of microscopic debris and germs. Even if you wash them often, they're still not sterile. This increases the chances of inflammation or even mild infections that may not seem serious, but contribute to the long-term breakdown of eye health. In people with underlying lens vulnerability, due to age, genetics, or environmental exposures, this minor irritation adds up over time. Think of it like constantly shaking a fragile snow globe. Eventually, things start to fall apart inside. So, while rubbing might feel good for a second, that relief is incredibly short-lived. The long-term trade-off, especially for people at risk of cataracts, just isn't worth it. If you're constantly feeling like you need to rub your eyes, it's time to ask why. Are your eyes dry? Are you staring at screens too long? Is your environment too dusty? These are solvable issues, but rubbing is not the solution. It's a hidden accelerator for clouded vision. The sooner you stop, the better your chances of protecting your eyes for years to come. Number 4. Spending too much time in the sun without eye protection. Picture this. You're out for a walk on a sunny day, maybe gardening or driving with the windows down, and the light feels great on your skin. But while your skin might be soaking up vitamin D, your eyes are quietly absorbing something far more dangerous, ultraviolet radiation. And if you're not wearing proper eye protection, you could be doing serious, irreversible damage to the lens of your eyes. Let's break this down. The sun emits UVA and UVB rays, two types of ultraviolet light that can penetrate through the outer layers of your eye and reach the sensitive lens inside. Over time, repeated exposure to UV light actually changes the proteins within the lens. Remember, cataracts are formed when these proteins degrade and clump together. UV rays speed up this degradation process, causing the lens to become cloudy, yellowed, and less flexible. This is why people who spend more time in sunny environments, farmers, sailors, construction workers, are statistically more likely to develop cataracts at an earlier age, especially if they aren't wearing protective eyewear. And no, it doesn't have to be a blazing hot day for UV to hurt your eyes. Even on overcast days, up to 80% of UV rays can still penetrate the cloud layer. That means every time you leave your house without sunglasses, or worse, wear sunglasses that don't have UV protection, you're letting that radiation in without a shield. Think of it like leaving your car's windows open during a storm. Just because you don't see the water pouring in doesn't mean the damage isn't happening. Studies from the National Eye Institute and the World Health Organization confirm that cumulative UV exposure is one of the most modifiable risk factors for cataract development. This means you have control here. You can actually protect your vision simply by wearing the right sunglasses. Look for lenses that block 99% to 100% of both UVA and UVB rays. Polarized lenses are even better because they reduce glare from surfaces like roads and water, which not only protects your lens but also your retina. Also, don't forget, the damage isn't just happening when you're at the beach or hiking. Snowy environments reflect UV rays powerfully. So does water and even concrete. If you're outside, your eyes are being exposed, period. And it's not just your eyes. The skin around your eyes, including your eyelids, is also vulnerable to sun-induced aging and even skin cancer. That's why broad hats or UV protective visors are your second line of defense. Here's the bottom line. The sun is powerful, and while it gives us life, it can also steal our sight if we're careless. Cataracts may develop slowly, but sun damage is cumulative. Every unprotected second adds up. So next time you head outside, make sunglasses as essential as your car keys or sunscreen. Your future self will thank you, and you might just save your vision from slowly fading into fog. Number 3. Eating a poor diet that starves your eyes of vital nutrients. You might think cataracts are just an inevitable part of getting older, like gray hair or wrinkles. But what you put on your plate every single day plays a powerful role in how fast your eyes age. The truth is, your diet can either feed your eyes what they need to stay strong and clear, or it can quietly starve them of protection, leaving them vulnerable to oxidation and protein breakdown, the two main culprits behind cataracts. Let's simplify this. Your eyes are constantly exposed to light and oxygen, which creates something called oxidative stress. This process releases unstable molecules called free radicals, which bounce around and damage your cells, including the lens of your eye. Over time, this damage causes the proteins in the lens to clump together, creating that cloudy cataract effect. But your body has a natural defense system to fight back: antioxidants. These are compounds that neutralize free radicals before they can do harm. And where do you get these antioxidants? Primarily from food. When your diet lacks key antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, lutein, and zeaxanthin, your eyes lose their main line of defense. Multiple large studies, including the Age-Related Eye Disease Study, AREDS, have shown that people with higher intakes of these nutrients had a significantly lower risk of developing cataracts. Vitamin C, for example, helps maintain the transparency of the lens by preventing oxidative damage. Vitamin E stabilizes cell membranes, lutein, and zeaxanthin, which are found in spinach, kale, and egg yolks, actually concentrate in the lens and retina, acting like internal sunglasses that filter harmful blue and UV light. Now compare that to a typical Western diet high in processed foods, refined carbs, and unhealthy fats. These foods are low in antioxidants and high in sugar, which can cause blood sugar spikes that further increase oxidative stress. Diabetics are already at higher risk of developing cataracts for this very reason. The sugar in the bloodstream can attach to lens proteins and trigger even more clouding. A junk food heavy diet is basically pouring fuel on the fire, but the damage doesn't stop there. If your body isn't getting enough quality protein, it can't repair damaged cells properly. If you're deficient in zinc, found in nuts, beans, and seafood, you might struggle to absorb and use the vitamin A your eyes rely on. And without healthy fats from fish, avocados, or olive oil, you might not be absorbing fat-soluble vitamins like E and A at all. In other words, a poor diet not only deprives your eyes of nutrients, it creates the perfect storm for lens breakdown. So, the next time you reach for that bag of chips or sugary soda, remember, it's not just your waistline at risk, it's your eyesight. Try adding more colorful fruits and vegetables to your meals. Go for leafy greens, berries, citrus fruits, sweet potatoes, and nuts. Your lens isn't just a piece of glass, it's living tissue, and what you feed it matters more than you think. Eating better doesn't have to be hard, but ignoring this could mean watching your vision fade when it didn't have to. If this is helpful so far, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more science-backed tips to keep you thriving at any age. And hey, share it with someone you love so they can make smarter choices too. Number 2. Using certain medications without realizing their silent damage. This is the one you need to stop immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, because this mistake might already be damaging your eyes from the inside without a single warning sign. We're talking about a hidden risk hiding in your medicine cabinet, the long-term use of certain medications, especially corticosteroids. These are drugs commonly prescribed for asthma, allergies, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, and even some skin conditions. They're powerful and often necessary, but they come at a cost, and most people have no idea they could be trading clearer breathing or reduced inflammation for their vision. So how exactly do these medications affect cataracts? Let's dive in. Corticosteroids, whether taken by mouth, inhaled, injected, or even used as eye drops, can cause something called posterior subcapsular cataracts. This type forms at the back of the lens and tends to interfere with your vision more quickly than other types. Scientists believe steroids disrupt the normal repair processes in lens cells and trigger abnormal changes in lens proteins, causing them to clump and cloud. And here's the scariest part: it doesn't take massive doses. Even people using inhalers or creams over a long period have developed steroid-induced cataracts. In fact, a large study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, found that people who used oral corticosteroids were significantly more likely to develop cataracts than those who didn't. Another study published in Archives of Ophthalmology confirmed that the risk increases with both dosage and duration, so the longer you're exposed, the more danger your lenses are in. But corticosteroids aren't the only culprits. Some medications used for depression, hormone therapy, high blood pressure, or even allergy relief can subtly raise your cataract risk over time. Certain antipsychotics and diuretics have also been flagged in research. And because the damage builds slowly, people rarely connect the dots between the pills they're taking and their worsening eyesight until it's far too late. Now let's be clear. You should never stop taking a prescribed medication without talking to your doctor. But what you can do is open that conversation. Ask if there are alternatives with fewer ocular side effects. Ask if your dosage can be reduced safely. Ask if you should be having regular eye exams to monitor the impact of long-term drug use. Far too many people wait until their vision is already severely impaired before realizing something in their daily routine, something they thought was helping them, has also been hurting them silently all along. Here's a simple truth. Medications can be life-saving, but they aren't free of trade-offs. If you're taking steroids or any long-term drug, you need to be proactive about your eye health. Protecting your vision means treating your medications with respect and caution, not fear, but awareness. Because once the clouding begins, reversing it is no longer an option. Cataract surgery is safe, yes, but wouldn't you rather not need it in the first place? So, if you do one thing today, make it this: review your medications, talk to your doctor, and get your eyes checked. This is the mistake most people don't even know they're making, and it's one of the most dangerous because it doesn't feel like a mistake until the damage is already done. Number 1. Ignoring screen time. If there's one habit that's accelerating cataracts for millions of people right now, in their homes, offices, cars, or even beds, it's this: staring at screens for hours every day without any form of protection or awareness. And no, we're not talking about screen time causing immediate blindness or explosions of light. This is something much quieter and much more dangerous, because every second you spend looking at a phone, tablet, computer, or TV, your eyes are being bathed in high-energy visible light, better known as blue light. And over time, that adds up to damage that is disturbingly real. Blue light is part of the visible light spectrum. It's the short wavelength, high energy light that gives screens their bright, cool glow. It's also emitted by LED lighting and fluorescent bulbs, basically most modern lighting sources. While some blue light is natural, like from the sun, the problem is that we're now getting too much of it, too close to our faces, for too many hours a day. And it's doing things to our eyes that scientists only recently began to fully understand. Multiple studies, including research published in scientific reports and investigative ophthalmology and visual science, have shown that prolonged exposure to blue light can accelerate oxidative stress in the eyes. That's the same type of stress we discussed earlier that leads to cataract formation. Only here, it's being caused by artificial light exposure, not aging or disease. Blue light penetrates deep into the eye and has been shown to cause damage to lens proteins and even DNA in retinal cells. Over time, this damage can lead to the clumping of proteins in the lens, yes, the exact process that leads to cataracts. What's even more alarming is that screen time also contributes to digital eye strain and reduced blink rates. When you stare at a screen, you blink less, sometimes as much as 60% less. Blinking helps spread tears across the surface of your eye and keeps the lens and cornea hydrated. Without it, the lens becomes dry and stressed. A dry, stressed eye is more vulnerable to oxidative damage. Combine that with blue light exposure, and you've got a perfect storm for lens degradation. And think about how pervasive this is. Most people check their phones within 10 minutes of waking up and keep using screens until just minutes before bed. That's 10, 12, sometimes 16 hours a day of exposure. Kids, teens, adults, seniors, no one is spared. And the problem is magnified by proximity. Holding a phone just a few inches from your eyes means even more concentrated blue light exposure, especially in the dark, when your pupils are dilated and allow even more of that light in. But here's what makes this mistake the most sinister. It doesn't feel like anything is wrong. You don't feel pain. You don't notice damage in real time. But years later, you wake up and wonder why your vision is dim, why lights glare at you, why colors seem duller. And by then, the lens has already clouded. Cataracts don't form overnight. They form slowly, sneakily, over years of little habits. And excessive screen exposure without blue light protection is one of the biggest offenders. So, what can you do? For starters, give your eyes a break. The 20 to 20-20 rule is simple but effective. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This helps reduce strain and encourages blinking. Next, invest in blue light blocking glasses or install blue light filters on your devices. Many phones and computers now have built-in night shift or comfort view settings. Use them, especially after sunset. Avoid screen use in complete darkness, and don't bring your phone to bed. And if you work on screens all day, make sure you're using proper lighting and monitor positioning to minimize glare and maximize comfort. Here's the hard truth. Blue light isn't going away. Screens are part of modern life, but pretending it's harmless is the real mistake. Cataracts are not just an old person's problem anymore. Young people are developing them earlier than ever, and unchecked screen exposure is one of the reasons why. If you care about your vision, if you want to avoid the cloudy lens, the glares, the surgeries, then protect your eyes from this silent, glowing threat, because what you can't see right now might be the very thing that takes your sight. So there you have it, 5 everyday mistakes that seem innocent but can silently and steadily make your cataracts worse. From rubbing your eyes without thinking to walking in the sun without protection, eating nutrient-poor meals, using medications without understanding their risks, and staring at screens without shielding your eyes from harmful blue light, each of these habits chips away at your vision. But the good news is every single one of them is preventable. Cataracts might be common, but that doesn't mean they're inevitable. Start protecting your eyes today, because seeing clearly, not just tomorrow, but for the rest of your life, is something you can fight for starting now. If you found this eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. You never know, it could be the nudge someone else needs to take control of their health today. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these 5 everyday mistakes surprised you the most? Or have you already made changes to protect your eyes from cataracts? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.